Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel Web Tutorials. Toss of the side. Guys, today's topic is going to be very different. Today we are going to discuss about the before and after pseudo elements. Yeah, so we will learn about what are before and after pseudo elements and how to use them. Guys, using before and after pseudo elements is a really good way to add extra style to your website. So without adding extra markup to your HTML file. The problem is a lot of people doesn't know what's going on before and after and also the power they have. So yeah, let's begin. So guys, as you can see, I have already written some HTML and CSS codes so that we can work on the actual thing. So let us first learn about how to actually write the pseudo elements. So let us go to our text editor. Here we go. So yeah, guys, originally only one colon was used before pseudo elements. For example, yeah, so for p attribute, the paragraph attribute, we have used the before pseudo element and we have given only one colon. So guys, this was the older way of defining the pseudo elements, but as pseudo elements and pseudo class were both kept in the same category, but with the coming of CSS3, the pseudo elements and pseudo classes were distinguished. So for pseudo elements we used two colons, and for the pseudo classes, for example a hover, we for the hover class, that is the pseudo class, we use the single colon method. But one thing is there, guys, that the browsers do support the earlier versions also, as they don't want to break the old stuff. So there's actually no problem in using the single colon method, but it is a good practice to use the two colon method for the upcoming days, because you never know that when it can be made mandatory and you won't be able to use the single colon method for the pseudo elements as well. So guys, let's start with the designing of the before and after pseudo elements. First of all, let's talk about the before and after pseudo elements, guys. A lot of guys have a misconception about the before and after pseudo elements, that it will be applied before or after the attribute. Guys, it's not like that. If I'm styling the h1 attribute, then it will stay within the h1 section. Let me just show you how. Let's just delete this, and what we need to style is the h1 attribute. Give it a pseudo element of before class, and give it a background of, let's just say, red, and display block. One more thing, guys, we can do a lot of coding, but still we won't be able to make it display. Let me just show you how. Display block, and give it a height of 20 pixel, a width of 20 pixel. Oops. And let's just set its position to top 0, bottom 0, left to be 0, and right also to be 0. Yeah, so let's just refresh it. So guys, as you can see, we did all those coding and still are left with nothing. Guys, right now we can't see anything because our pseudo element doesn't exist yet. So to bring it into existence, we will have to use the content property. So let's use the content property, and we don't want anything in it right now, so we will let it be empty, and we'll close it. So yeah, it's pretty much alive now. So just refresh it. Okay, I guess I didn't save it. Yeah, so just refresh it, and yes, our work is in action now. Now guys, let's clear the doubt. So for that, let's just give h1 background of, let's just say, light blue, and refresh it. So guys, as you can see that the pseudo element is the part of the h1 only, and actually staying in the h1 section and not before the h1 section. So yeah, and guys, we can do the same thing for the after element as well. Let's just copy this and paste it over here and change it with after. Yeah, so this is it. Guys, there are two things I want to tell you. Firstly, that the pseudo elements doesn't work on the images, okay? And the second thing is that we can use content attribute to write anything before or after the attributes. For example, let's just, I don't actually like this red color at first, so let's just change it to gray, and should do the same thing with this body as well. And let's just delete this part and do the same with this. Okay, and let's just change the content to hello world, and now if we see, it has changed to, it has brought some content over it, and the background color also has taken place. And okay, we are using this block, so just remove it and now refresh it. As you can see, this can be used in some with some handy effects. And let's just do the same with the after pseudo elements. Let's just say goodbye world, and okay, let's just delete this, save it and refresh it. Okay, so as you can see, the after and before pseudo elements has taken effect, and they are just beside the h1 attribute. We can do one thing as well, guys, that we can give it the quoting that is needed before the paragraph. So let's just say use the open quote attribute, and here we can use the close quote attribute. So this will give them the quoting. And let's just remove this background, we don't need it because we want to display it without any background. Yeah, so just save it, and yep, here it is. This is our content of the before and after pseudo element. Yep, so that is it, guys. Now it's time to make something meaningful with the help of the before and after pseudo elements. At first, we'll be designing this cool looking Avengers title, and we will learn how to bring it upwards from this gray strip beneath it, and with the help of course, the z-index property. And secondly, we will learn about the styling of the borders with the help of the before and pseudo elements, and the same thing is with this image as well. So yeah, let's begin with this, guys. As you can see, we have set the template for the resulting web page, and right now our web page looks like this, with no before and after elements used. It has no strip and no border coming up for the images as well. So, and guys, the HTML codes for this web page is like this. We have used the h1 attribute for our main title, and we haven't used any div, guys, because there isn't any need of it, because as you might have seen, many developers rely on using divs everywhere, which is not a very good practice if you ask me. Secondly, guys, we have used a container div, and in that we have set the images and with the help of some sub divs, and we have done the same thing with the second image as well. So let's get on with the styling part, guys. One more thing, guys, which is I guess a very important thing. Whenever you use the before and after pseudo elements, don't forget to mention it in the universal coding, just like I have mentioned it, because the only thing it will do is ease your work. It will run smoothly on any kind of web browser you want. So yeah, just remember, make it mandatory in your mind that whenever you use the pseudo elements, please do mention it in your universal coding part as well. So let's get on with the styling part of the before and after pseudo elements. So guys, first of all, we will style the title part of the web page. So we'll have to use the h1 attribute. So guys, as some things are going to be common in both before and after section, thus we will write it like this. Let me just show you h1, and the first of all the before element, and the h1 with after element. Oops, I forgot to do this. And then you can start with your coding part. So yeah, so first of all we'll set the content to be empty, and then we'll give it a height of 100%, and then we want to display it as block. Yep. And secondly, we want to position it absolute, and we want to set its top to be 0. So let's just see how it goes. Okay, we haven't done any styling for the before and after particularly, so yeah, let's just do it first, and then we will be able to see what coding effect takes place. So yep, we should set its background color to be gray as earlier, and width to be 100 viewing width. Then guys, what it will do is that it will shift the scale. As you can see, we will need to use this scrolling part, but actually in actual we don't need this. So to eradicate that, we will use the left attribute, that is 50%, and then we will use the transform property, and we will translate the x to minus 50%. So let's close it, and I guess this is it. Yeah, so this will bring it in the mid, this will bring the strip to the exact position that we need. And let's now style the after part. So for that, h1 and after. So yeah, see guys, this is my mistake I've done. I am not in the habit of writing it as 2: method. So yeah, this is it. Oops, just close it, and yeah, let's style the after part. So for that, we will give this height of 100%, and background should be white. Okay, close this, and give left padding kind of thing, that is minus 0.1 m, and right also to minus 0.1 m, and yep, I guess that would do. Yeah, so we aren't right now able to see anything because we haven't used the z-index property. So for that, in the very beginning the h1 has the z-index of 0, so we want to bring the h1 in the very front of it. So at first we'll use the z-index in the after section, that is, we will use the z index as -1, and we'll use z index in the before section as -2. So now this will bring the Avengers part to the top of the web page. Yeah. Now guys, let's style the images. So for that, one more important thing guys is that in some web pages this 100% height may not work. So to eradicate that, for safety we can use this as 101%, because in some web pages you can see a slightly 1 pixel border over here. So to eradicate that, we have used that 101% attribute. So yeah, let's just style the card part. Yeah. So guys, we will do the same thing with the card section as well. We will use the common part and write it down together. So for that, we will write it down like this. Yeah. So first of all, we need to set the content, that is empty. So yep, and we want to position it absolute. So we'll go with the absolute property. And now we want to style the borders. So for that, we want the border to be from the inside, and we want to make it visible in the inside of the card section. So for that, we will set its top position to be 1.25 m, and then the same with the bottom. Guys, we want to make it look square, so we'll do the same with the left and right as well. It is 1.25 m, and we are going to do the same for the right, that is 1.25 m. Yeah. Okay, so let's just save it. And the next thing we want to do is set its opacity to 1, so that it's visible. And we want to give it an animation. For that, we'll use the transition property, and we want it to transform, and we want the ease out property of the animation, and the duration we want is 0.6 seconds. So now let's design the before and after pseudo elements particularly. So for that, we will use the card section only, and we will use the before pseudo element. Yeah. So next thing we want is to make the borders visible. So how our borders are going to look is like border top, that is going to be 2 pixel solid, and we want its color to be white. And we are going to do the same with the border bottom. So for that, also 2 pixels solid and white. Yeah. And we want to set its scale. So for that, transform scale, and that is 0 for the x property and 1 for the y property. Yeah. So we'll do the same with the after pseudo element. So just copy it and paste it. So now I want the border to start from right and left, so we'll change it to right, and here we'll change it to left, and we will have to replace the x and y properties. So yeah, this is it. And the main element, that is, we will change it from before to after. So now this is it, that is the main part. And secondly, when we hover over the border or the card, we want it to start it from the we want it to overlap. Actually, we want the borders to overlap each other. So for that, we will have to use the card section, and we will use the hover class, and first of all the before pseudo element we will use. So for that, we'll transform our scale to 1.05 for the x and 1 for the y, and we'll do the same for the right and left part as well. So for that we'll set its class to be hover and element to be after, and we'll transform it to scale 1 for the x and 1.05 for the y. So yeah, let us just see how it has turned out to be. Just refresh it, and yep, I guess it's working perfectly fine on both the images. So guys, I guess now it's clear to you how the before and after pseudo element works. And guys, if you have any doubts, please leave your questions in the comments below, and I hope you guys will bring to practice what you have learned today and make something useful out of it. So I guess that's it from me in this section. Hope to see you again in the next video with some more cool stuff regarding web development. Thank you.